Hello my dear friends, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. So you are very welcome in our lecture number 2 of statistics. Okay, I hope you will enjoy this lecture. Yes, so let's start without wasting the time. Yes, so now here today we are going to discuss graphical representation of data. In previous lecture, we learned the tabular representation of data. Okay, now here we are converting that table into the graph. Okay, so graphical representation is a way of analyzing numerical data. Okay, and here it exhibits the relation between data, ideas, information and concept in a diagram. Okay, and it is easy to understand, and it is one of the most important learning strategies. It always depends on the type of information in a particular domain. Okay, so there are different types of graphs like line graphs, bar graph, histograms. Okay, so here in this chapter there are three important graphs we are going to study. Okay, so here first is bar graph. Okay, first is bar graph. Second one is histograms. Okay, and the third one is frequency polygons. Okay, frequency polygons. Got it? Now in this lecture today we are going to discuss about bar graph, and rest of these we will discuss later. Okay, I hope you understand these things. Okay, yes, so now let's see bar graph. Okay, so first of all, what is bar graph? So bar graph are the pictorial representation of data, generally grouped data, in the form of vertical or horizontal rectangular bars. Vertical or horizontal rectangular bars, where the length of bars are proportional to the measure of data. Okay, this is also known as bar charts. Okay, bar graphs are one of the means of data handling in statistics. Okay, here you can see. Okay, so this is the bar graph. Okay, this is the pictorial representation. Between velocity and vehicles and velocity. Okay, so bar graph drawn are of uniform width. Here you can see the width is what? This width is uniform. Okay, and the variable quantity is represented on one of the axes, Here the variable quantity is what? Velocity. It means the velocity is variate. Okay, this is variable, and this represent on the y-axis. I hope you understand these things. Now here is the height or length of the bar. We are talking about this. This height denotes what? Denotes the value of the variable. Here we can see like this. Let's suppose we are taking this height. So what is the value of this? If we meet like this, so here we get 90. So we can say that the car has a velocity 90. Okay, 90 kilometer per hour. I hope you understand these things. So these graphs are also used to compare certain quantity. Like here we can see that the bicycle has the velocity is 25, like approximately 25 kilometer per hour, and the scooter has 45 kilometer per hour velocity, and the bus has 70 kilometer per hour velocity, and the train has like this. Here you can see this is approximately 62 kilometer per hour. So we can compare the quantity like this. Here we can say that the highest velocity is what? This is 90 of car. Okay, and the minimum velocity is what? This is 25 of bicycle. Okay, I hope you understand these things. So this is the way to compare the quantities. Okay, so these graphs are also used to compare certain quantity. I hope you understand these things. Now here is the three major attributes of the bar graph are. First is the bar graph helps to compare the different sets of data among different groups easily. Okay, the bar graph, what? Bar graph helps to compare the different sets of data among the different groups very easily, and it shows the relationship using the two axes. It shows the relationship between the two axes with the help of two axes. Okay, now in which the categories on one axis and the discrete values on the other axis. Okay, like this. Here is on the x-axis there is a categories, on the y-axis there is a discrete values. Understand? And the third one is the graph shows the major changes in data over time. The graph shows the major changes in data over time. I hope you understand these things, my dear friends. Yes, so now let's move on. So here we are going to see types of bar graph. What is? Yes, types of bar graph. So basically the types of bar graphs are as, first is vertical bar graph. First is vertical bar graph. Okay, and the second one is horizontal bar graph. Second one is horizontal bar graph. Okay. So basically, my dear friends, the primary feature of any of the bar graph is its length or height. Is its length or height. If the length of the bar graph is more, then the values are greater than any given data. Okay. Yes, so now let's see one by one. Okay. So first of all, we are going to see vertical bar graph. Now what is vertical bar graph? Now when the grouped data are represented vertically in a group or chart with the help of bars. Okay, here you can see that the length of this graph is what? This is vertically, so we can say that this is what? This is the vertical bar chart or vertical bar graph. Okay, I hope you understand these things. So the bars denote the measures of data. Such graphs are called vertical bar graph. The data is represented along the y-axis of the graph. Here you can see these data are represented along the y-axis of the graph, and the height of the bar shows the values. Height of the bar shows the values. So we can say this is what? This is the vertical bar graph. Okay, I hope you understand these things. Now if you see the horizontal bar graph, here is when the group data are represented horizontally. Here is represented horizontally. Okay, in the chart with the help of bars. Okay, then such graphs are called horizontal bar graph. Now here is the bar shows the measure of data. Okay, and the data is depicted here along the x-axis. Along the x-axis. This is what? This is x-axis, and this is y-axis. So the data is is depicted here along the x-axis of the graph. So the length of the graph, bar graph, denotes the value. So here this length is what? This length is horizontal. So we can say that this is what? This is horizontal bar graph. So we have two important bar graphs like vertical bar graph and horizontal bar graph. Okay, yes, so now let's see how to draw a bar graph. Okay, how to draw a bar graph. Now let us consider an example like this. Let's suppose we have 4 different types of pets such as cat, dog, rabbit and hamster. Okay, and the corresponding numbers are 22, 39, 5 and 9 respectively. It means we have cat is 22, we have dogs are 39 and we have rabbits are 5 and the hamster are 9. Okay, now Now in order to visualize represent the data using the bar graph, first of all we need to follow these steps. Okay, so what are these? Let's see. So step number 1 is, first of all, decide the title of the bar. First of all, decide the title of the bar. For example, types of pads. Okay, now in the second step, draw the horizontal axis and vertical axis. Okay, now label the horizontal axis. Label the horizontal axis. Now in the fourth step, write the names on the horizontal axis such as cat, dog, rabbit and hamster. Okay, and now label the vertical axis. For example, number of pads. Okay, now finalize the scale range for the given data, and finally draw the bar graph that should represent each category of the pad with their respective numbers. Okay, so this is the method to draw the bar graph. I hope you understand these things. Yes, so now let's see some important notes. Okay, some of the important notes related to the bar graph are as like here is, in the bar graph there should be an equal spacing between the bars. There should be an equal spacing between the bars. Okay, here you can see that in this graph you can see there is equal spacing between the graph. Okay, so this is the important part of this bar graph. Okay, and the second one is, it is advisable to use the bar graph if the frequency of the data is very large. Okay, if we have a frequency of data very large, then we have to use the bar graph. Okay, now understand the data that should be represented on x-axis and y-axis. So this is very important part, that what type of data should be represented on x-axis and y-axis and the relation between the two. Okay, understand? Yes, so now let's see the properties of bar graph. Okay, so what is the properties of bar graph? Here you can see there are some important properties of the bar graph, such as all the bars should have a common base. All the bars should have a common base. Exactly. And each column in the bar graph should have equal weight. Like this. Here we are talking about this width. So each bar have equal weight. Okay, and this is the bar. These are the what? These are the bars. Okay, so that's why we are calling this is bar graph. Okay, and the next one is, the height of the bar should represent to the data value. We know that very well. Okay, the distance between each bar should be same. This is also we know that very well. Okay, now let's move on. Now let's see the applications of bar graph. Okay, so bar graphs are used to match things between different groups or to trace changes over time. Yet when trying to estimate change over time, bar graphs are most suitable when the changes are bigger. Then the bar graphs are most suitable graphs. Okay, bar graph process discrete domains of division and are normally scaled so that all the data can fit on the graph. Okay, when there is no regular order of the divisions being matched, bars on the chart may be organized in any order. Yes, now let's see advantages and disadvantages of bar chart. Okay, so what are the advantages? Bar charts or bar graph summarizes the large set of data in simple visual form. Because it is the pictorial representation of the bar graph. Okay, and here is, it displays each category of data in the frequency distribution. This is the advantage. It clarifies the trends of data better than the table. Okay, this is the biggest advantage. it helps in estimating the key values at a glance. Okay. Yes. Now let's see the disadvantage. Sometimes the bar graph fails to reveal the patterns, cause effects, etc. Okay. Sometimes bar graph does not reveal. Okay. It fails to reveal the patterns or causes or effects, etc. And it can be easily manipulated to yield fake information. Okay, so this is the biggest advantages of the bar graph. Now let's solve some problems, okay, so that you can understand better. Okay, yes. So the question number 1 here is, you can see, in the firm of 406 employees, okay, the percentage of monthly salary saved by each employee is given in the following table. Here you can see. Okay, now represented it through a bar graph. Here you can see that. Okay, here is number of employees. This is the frequency on, and here is the savings in percentage. Okay, this is salary saved, means this is saving. Yes. Now let's represent this. Okay, so here is, you can see the given data can be represented as like this. Okay, and here is, on the x-axis there is a savings in percentage, and on the y-axis there are number of employees. Okay, so here you can see 20% saving is equals to the 105 employees. Okay, so here you can see, means 199 employees. Here 199 employees having the saving 30%. Okay, so here is, okay, 29 employees. I hope you understand these things. So 73 employees having the saving 50%. Okay, so this is the bar graph. This is the bar graph. Okay, and this is vertical bar graph. This is vertical bar graph. We can write vertical bar graph. Now we can represent this data using horizontal bar graph also. Okay, here is, you can see. Now in this case, on the x-axis we are taking number of employees, and on the y-axis we are taking the savings in percentage. Okay, here you can see, this is the horizontal bar graph. I hope you understand these things, my dear friends. Yes. So now let's move on. So the next question is, a cosmetic company manufactures 4 different shades of lipsticks. Okay, so the sales of 6 months is shown in the table. Here is, now represent it using bar graph. We have to represent it using the bar graph. Now here we have the months like January, February, March, April, May and June. So there are 6 months, and there are shade 1, shade 2, shade 3 and shade 4. There are 4 types of 4 different lipsticks. Shade 1, shade 2, shade 3 and shade 4. And these are the sales. Okay, these are the sales of shade 1 in 6 months. This is the sales of shade 2 in 6 months. And this is the sales of shade 3, and this is the sales of shade 4. Okay, understand, my dear friends? I hope you understand these things. Yes. So now let's represent it. So here you can see that this is the bar graph. Okay, so here this is the scale like this. The yellow part represent the shade 1. Okay, and this part, like blue part, represent the shade 2, green part represent the shade 3, and the pink part represent the shade 4. Now in the January month, here you can see the sale of shade 1 is, here is the sale of shade 1 is 4500. What is 4500? Then the length of graph is equals to, here is 4500. The sale of shade 2, here is the sale of shade 2 is 1600. So the length is equals to 1600. Okay, and the sale of shade 3 is 4400. So the length of the bar, the length of the bar of the shade 3 is what? This is, here is, this is 4400. This is what? This is 4400, like this. Okay, and in the month of January, the sale of shade 4 is 3245. So here you can see that the length of bar is equals to, length of bar of this shade 4 is equals to 3245. Okay, understand? So similarly we can draw in for the month of February, for the month of March, April, May and June similarly. Okay, I hope you understand these things. So this is the method to draw the bar graph. Okay, to represent this tabular form in the bar graph. Okay, understand? Yes. So now the next question here is the variation of temperature in a region during a year is given as follows, like this. Here you can see. Now depict it through the bar graph. Okay. Yes, so we have the month and temperature. Okay, we have 12 months, so there are 12 temperatures. So in the month of January, it is minus 6 degree centigrade. In the month of February, it is minus 3.5 degree centigrade. In the month of March, it is minus 2.7 degree centigrade. In the month of April, this is 4 degree centigrade. And this is 6 degree centigrade, 12 degree, 15 degree, 8 degree, 7.9 degree. And here is 6.4 degree in the month of October, and in the month of November it is 3.1 degree centigrade, and in the month of December this is minus 2.5 degree centigrade. Okay, so these are the what? These are the variation of temperature in a region during a year. Okay, now let's make the graph here. So you can see here is, this is the graph, this is the variation of the temperature. Okay, now here you can see, now starting from this, on the x-axis we are taking the temperature, and on the y-axis we are taking the month. Okay, and we know that this is 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, and in this left side this is minus 5, minus 10 and so on. Okay, so we know that in the month of January, it is minus 6 degrees centigrade. It is minus 6 degrees centigrade. So the length of bar is what? This is, yeah, this is minus 6. This is minus 6. So the length of bar is equals to minus 6. Okay. So now here is, you can see, this is what? This is horizontal bar graph. We can say this is horizontal bar graph. Okay. Understand, my dear friends? Okay. Now in the month of February, the temperature is minus 3.5 degrees centigrade. So we can plot like this. This is what? This is minus 3.5 degrees centigrade. Okay, understand, my dear friend? Similarly, we can draw the variation of temperature for all the years. Okay, from January to December. I hope you understand these things. Yes, so now the next question here is, now a survey conducted by an organization for the cause of illness and death among the women between the ages 15 to 44 years. This is in years, okay, and in worldwide. Okay, now this is the table, this is the frequency distribution table, we can say. Okay, so the cause first is reproductive health condition. Okay, and female fatality rate is what? This is 31.8%. Now second reason is neuropsychiatric condition. So the fatality rate is what? 25.4%. Okay, so this is what? This is the death rate. Now due to injuries, the fatality rate is 12.4%. Due to cardiovascular condition, it is 4.3%. Due to respiratory condition, it is 4.1%. And due to other causes, this is 22.0%. Okay, so this is what? This is the frequency distribution table. Okay. Yes. Now the first part of this question here is represent the information given above graphically. Okay, means we have to represent this information graphically. Okay, now here you can see that on the x-axis we are taking the causes, and on the y-axis we are taking the female fatality rate. Okay, so here is, you can see this graph represent the reproductive health condition. The reason is what? Reproductive health condition. So the fatality rate is what? 31.8%. so here you can see this is 31.8%. 31.8%. Okay, now if you see the second case, here is, this is neuropsychiatric condition. Here the percent is what? 25.4%. so here this is 25.4%. okay, and due to injuries, this is what? This is 12.4%. so we can write this is, here is, this is what? 12.4%. This is a 12.4%. Now due to cardiovascular condition, this is 4.3%. so we can write this is 4 point, here we can write 4.3%. now due to respiratory condition, this is 4.1%. okay, this is 4.1%. so here this is similar to this, like 4.1%. and due to other causes, this is 22%. this is 22%. This represent like the here 22%. okay, so this is what? This is the representation graphically. Okay, understand? Yes. so now in the second part, here is, which condition is the major cause of women's ill health and death worldwide? Okay, now here you can see that, here you can observe this, reproductive health condition is the major cause. This is the highest, this is the length of the reproductive health condition is the highest. okay, so we can say reproductive health condition is the major cause of women's ill health and death worldwide, as 31.8% of women are affected by it. okay, so here we can write it as reproductive health conditions is the major cause of women's ill health. got it? and death worldwide, as 31.8% of women, 31.8% of women are affected by it, okay. Yes, so now the third part of this question is, try to find out any two factors which play a major role in the cause, in second above being the major cause. okay, so the factor of reproductive health being a major cause may be like, first may be lack of medical facilities. okay, and the second may be lack of correct knowledge of treatment. okay, so here we can write the factors of reproductive health being a major cause may be, because here you can see, because the first may be lack of medical facilities, Okay, understand? And the second may be, here you can see, lack of correct knowledge. Lack of correct knowledge of treatment, means they are not aware of treatment. Okay, understand? So this is the answer of this question. Yes, so now here is, so the next question is, as you can see in the screen, the following data on the number of girls to the nearest 10 per thousand boys in different sections of Indian society is given as, here is. So we have different sections, as you can see. So sections are scheduled caste, means ST, scheduled tribe, means ST, non-SC ST, backward districts, non-backward districts, rural and urban. And this column contain number of girls per thousand boys. Number of girls per thousand boys. Here you can see in the scheduled caste section. In the scheduled caste, there are 940 number of girls per thousand boys. Okay. In ST there are 970. In SC, non-SC ST there are 920. And in backward district there are 950. There are 920 in non-backward districts. And in rural there are 930, and in urban there are 910. Okay. Now we have to represent this tabular form into the graphically. So here the first part of this question is, represent the information above by a bar graph, with the help of bar graph. Okay. Now here you can see that here this is what, this is the bar graph. Okay. So first condition is that we have to know, here we are taking this section, different sections on the x-axis, and different that data on the y-axis. Here you can see there are number of girls per thousand boys. This is the data, and we are starting from 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 1000. Okay. So similar like this. Now this is SC, ST, non-SC, ST, backward districts, non-backward districts, rural and urban. Okay. And in SC there are 940. The data is what, 940. So here the length of this bar is equals to 940. What is 940? Okay. And the length of the ST is what? This will be 970. This will be what? Yes, we can write. Here you can see this is 970. Okay. And in non-SC ST, here you can see in the table, this is 920. This is what? Yes, this is 920. Okay. Here we can write, this is below the 940. So this is 920. And if you talk about the backward district, so in backward district the data is 950. So this is above the 940. It means like this, here this. Okay. So this is what? This is 950. And in non-backward this is 920. It means it is equals to like this. Here is it is equals to non-STSC. So this is here 920. And in rural part this is 930. So it means here we can draw, it is like this is approximately, here is this is below the 940 and above the 920. Above the 920. So this is 930. And for urban this is 910. Okay. So this is below the 920. here is this approximately here, this is 910. So this is the data. Okay, so we are representing this tabular form into the, yes, into the what, into the bar graph. I hope you understand these things. Now the second part is, now in the classroom discuss what conclusion can be arrived at from this graph. Okay, what can we conclude from this graph? So here we can see that maximum number of girls per 1000 boys, that is 970, is for scheduled tribe. Here you can see in this is the maximum number of girls per 1000 boys. Okay, is for ST. Okay, and minimum number of girls per 1000 boys, this is 910 for urban. For urban. So we can write here as from this graph we can conclude that maximum number of girls per 1000 boys, that is 970, is for ST, means scheduled tribe, and minimum number of girls per 1000 boys, that is what, that is 910. This is the minimum. So is for urban, okay, and the number of girls per 1000 boys is greater in ST and SC than that in non-SC ST. Okay, here you can see the number of girls per 1000 boys is greater in SC ST as compared to, yes, non-SC ST. Okay, and backward districts, and the number of girls in backward districts is more than that in non-backward districts. Okay, and number of girls per 1000 boys is greater in rural areas as compared to urban areas, Okay, I hope you understand these things, my dear friends. Yes, so now let's move on. So here is, so the next question is, given below are the sets won by different political parties in the polling outcome of a state assembly elections. Okay, so here we have political parties A, B, C, D, E and F, and seat won by A, this is 75, seat won by B, this is 55, and similarly seat won by C, this is 37, won by D, this is 29, won by E, this is 10, and won by F, this is 37. Okay, now we have to plot, we have to represent this information on the bar graph. So here you can see the first part of this question, draw a bar graph to represent the polling result, Now here you can see that on the x-axis we are taking the political parties, and on the y-axis we are taking the seat won. Okay, so the data on the x-axis, on the y-axis, like 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. There are difference between two consecutive intervals. This is 10. Okay. Yes. So now seat won by A, which is 75. So here you can see this is 75. Here this is 75. And seat won by B, this is 55. So here you can see this is 55. Seat won by C, here you can see this is 37. So this is, here you can see this is 37. Okay, so we can write this is 75, this is 55, this is 37. Similarly, this is what? This is 29, this is 10, and this is 37. So this is the bar graph which represent this data. Okay, so we can compare, we can observe this data. We observe this data very easily with the help of bar graph. Now the second part of this question is, which political party won the maximum number of seats. Which political party won the maximum number of seats? So here you can see, here you can observe this. Party A, political party A won the maximum number of seats. Here you can see this is 75. So here we can write it as, we can write political party A, political party A won the maximum number of seats, won the maximum number of seats. Okay, I hope you understand these things. Now this is enough for today, and we will meet in the next lecture with the next amazing topic. So thank you very much for listening me, and take care and goodbye.